Hello everyone and welcome to the third video of Kotlin for Android developers. In this video, we are going to learn how to use val or var keywords. Imagine if you want to save your data like name or age of user inside your application temporarily. You can't ask him every time. You just want to ask him once and use it inside your application. That's when you create a variable. So let's start. Let me clean this line. To create a variable, you just type var and your variable name, like my name. Note that I used camel case for naming my variable. So what is camel case? Camel case is when you want to introduce a variable, you write the first name or first word at a lowercase and the following words start with the uppercase. So my variable name, which is very long. That's how camel case works. Okay, so after writing your variable name, you put a colon and write your data type. For example, my data type is going to be int, stands for integer, and you write an equal sign and the value of it. If you don't know data types, it's okay. I'm going to explain in just a few seconds. I just wanted you to know how to declare a variable. Okay, let's move to the data types. Kotlin is statically typed, so it means that you have to specify the data type that you want to use. For me here, I want to use an integer or a number. So I choose int as my data type. So for example, if you want to get word or a sentence as a variable, you just write my string variable, which is a string data type, and equals to my name is Masoud. So whenever you want to get some data like word or address or something like that, you use string data type. There are some more data types. The next data type is called boolean, var my boolean variable is a boolean. Actually, there is two types for this variable. One is false and the other one is true. So you just can choose one of them. This variable is used for conditions. It's pretty important actually. For example, if you want to see your user is higher than 18 or lower than 18, you use boolean value. It can be true or false. The next data type that I'm going to use is called float. Float is for decimal numbers. I write my float variable. It's a float. And the value is going to be a decimal number, like 23.5. And write an f as a float. The next data type is going to be a double, which is also for decimal numbers. My double variable is going to be a double. And the next variable is called long. Long is for numbers also, but it holds bigger numbers. My long variable. And you have to write an L that JVM actually understand that it's a long. The next data type is called char. Which is going to hold only a character. I know that might sound stupid, but it will come in handy later. So these are actually what we need to know to start and root applications. Okay, if you hold your mouse on the int keyword, you will see there's an error here. Actually, not an error, it's a warning. It tells you that there's no need to write your data type here, because when you specify your value for your variable, IntelliJ is actually smart to realize what data type it has. So for example, if we remove int here, hold your control and mouse on your variable name, it actually realizes that your variable type is an integer. So it also works this way. So pretty much we learned how to declare a variable. Let's move to the val keyword. We write val and IntelliJ realizes that we are trying to introduce a val, so it becomes orange. I type my int val is equal to 30. But you see there's an underline here. What does it mean? Actually, there's a difference between var and val keyword. The difference is, if you try to reassign a var keyword, that's possible. For example, I made an integer variable. I'm going to reassign the value of it. So I write my variable name is equal to 25. So you see there's no error here. But if I try to reassign my val variable, my int val is equal to 25, you'll see there's an error here. It says val cannot be reassigned. It might not make any sense here, but I'm going to make an example for you. Imagine if you have some condition that you don't want to change it at all. For example, if you want to calculate a tax for a person, you get his income as an integer and you always want to have your tax percent as val, so it doesn't change at all. Then you have to save it inside a val. For example, val my tax percent is equal 10 or whatever. So that's val keyword. Okay, now let's use our variables. I'm going to print them inside my log. Alright, print line or print ln. Note that I'm using my variable name, my string variable. Let's run it. As you see, the value of my variable is typed here, not the variable name. So if you remember last video, I wrote something like hello world, and you saw these words are printed here. So if you're new here, you're probably wondering what's happening here. Whenever you want to use a variable, you just write its name, like my string variable. But if you want to directly print a message inside your console, you write double quotation and your message here. So basically you are creating a string variable here and try to print it inside the console. If you don't understand what's happening here, it's okay. You'll learn in much more details later. So that's it for this video. I'm going to see you on the next video.